Let me start this video by saying I am in no way a Warriors fan, but being an NBA fan and someone who has just watched the league for so long, I will say this news about Klay Thompson is just sad to see. And in case you somehow don't know what I'm talking about, the Warriors and Klay Thompson have basically failed to come to an agreement when it comes to his new contract, meaning he will be going to a new team come free agency. And depending on when you're watching this video, he might already be gone. But for this video, I don't care if he's a Laker, a Magic, a Nugget, a Maverick, I don't care, because point is, we're here to talk about the Warriors and what is next for them. But because Klay Thompson is technically still a Warrior, I do want to talk a little bit about him and what this means for his career. When it comes down to Klay's legacy with the Warriors, I really do think there will be a little bit of dirt on it. I think even though he is a part of the title of being a splash bro, he is still going to be one of the most underrated parts when it comes to their story and their dynasty. I think in certain situations, we're going to see Draymond Green get more credit than Klay, which really sucks. And maybe that's just a recency bias kicking in my head because I in no way believe that to be true or have that be the actual reality. But the way that he ended his time with the franchise, it was just a little bit murky. Okay, going 0-10 against the Kings in the play-in tournament, I mean, that's just kind of rough. Once again, I want to make it very clear, I do not think that way. I do not think that he should have a murky reputation with the team or that he should be discredited and underrated. I just have a feeling that that is how the average NBA fan is going to perceive this type of situation. Because let's be honest here, for him to spend the rest of his career, most likely, with another team and leave when you have Steph and Draymond still with the Warriors and probably retiring with them, it's just not gonna look that good. But I don't give a shit if it doesn't look good. It was still the right decision. I am so happy to see Klay Thompson leave the Warriors like this. Being 34 years old and still having a lot more to give to the game, I think he could be a huge piece to a team like the Dallas Mavericks. I know some Mavericks fans don't want him, but to bring in any guy that has 4 championships, even if he's just coming off the bench or kind of just being a spark or just a motivator and mentor to players, that is still an important role in the NBA, and that's something that has actually been lost in today's league. The one thing that scares me is the ego, like the fact that he might go to a team and feel like because he is a 4-time champion, he has the right to start and get all these minutes and be the guy on the team or whatever he may think. That's the one thing that kind of scares me about him. But if he goes to a team like the Lakers, like that's just not gonna happen because LeBron fucking James is right there. And believe it or not, Klay Thompson isn't the only player that is going to be leaving this team when it comes to the start of the next season, because even though nothing is confirmed and we don't really know the whole story, I have a very strong feeling we won't be seeing Andrew Wiggins be in a Warriors jersey next year. With there being a lot of reports that he was very excited to be a part of Team Canada, the Warriors just kind of pulled him out of nowhere. They said that he was suffering with a foot injury early on in the season, but so was Curry, and he's playing with Team USA. So a lot of the conversation was that they didn't want Andrew Wiggins to go play in these games for the Olympics and, you know, Team Canada, and then get injured and then have them not be able to trade him. So I feel like they're at least shopping Wiggins right now. Whether or not they'll be able to get anything, I don't know. I've seen a lot of conversations about maybe the Sacramento Kings coming in to buy him. I personally would not want that, considering he's been a very inconsistent player, which is unfortunate because I want the best for Andrew Wiggins and he has had some great highlights in his career. But I think as of recently, I just don't want to go anywhere near that. When it comes to this Warriors team as a whole, I actually don't know how I feel about them. And I only say that because to me, it feels like they're still trying to make a push for a championship, right? They have Stephen Curry on their team. It makes sense that they are going to try to make something happen. But this team just isn't good. My personal decision, if I was the general manager of this team, I would have had it blown up by last year. And kind of like what I said before, some people might find that to be a problem. Maybe they would think that because you have Steph Curry and he is such a great player, you should continue to do everything in your power to build around him and always make sure he's on a championship contending team. But I feel like that's just such wrong thinking. Like, for example, when they went out to go and try to get Paul George, which we now know isn't a possibility because he's going to free agency, I didn't like that move for them. If that happened, I would have been upset because they were gonna have to give up their assets just to get a, I think, 34-year-old Paul George, who, yes, is a great player and he is going to help you guys out a lot. But does Paul George turn this terrible Warriors team into a championship contending roster? I personally just don't think so. And so I think to myself, I don't know what the piece is for this Warriors team. I don't know if there is any piece, which is why I think the best route for this team would be rebuilding, trade everything that you really can, obviously keep Draymond and Curry just for the culture and for the legacy, and get draft picks. Draft whatever you can, draft whatever talent you can, and have Steph Curry be the mentor to that young kid. Because with someone so influential like Stephen Curry and all these kids that already look up to the guy, if you just get like a top 5 draft pick, I mean, I know it's not easy to draft superstars, but I feel like if any team can do it, it would be maybe the Oklahoma City Thunder and also the Golden State Warriors are one of those teams that I believe their scouting and their development team. It's actually kind of funny to look at what I'm describing right now, considering they actually had exactly what I'm talking about just a couple of years ago with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was the closest Steph Curry Curry-like clone in the NBA when he was with the Warriors. It was actually turning into a problem because when Steph Curry would leave the court and Jordan Poole would come in, he would play so much like Steph Curry, except obviously not Steph Curry, that they would know how to guard him. They would know how to defend against him, and that was actually a problem with this Warriors team. I don't know if many people remember that, but then you let Draymond Green and the Warriors front office, I want to make that very clear, the Warriors front office messed this up as well. You let them both destroy that. You let them trade it away to the Washington Wizards for, what was it, Chris Paul? Was he the one that came back in that trade? It seriously blows my mind that because the Golden State Warriors head office wanted to keep Draymond Green because he obviously has built a name there and a reason for him to stay with the franchise, they got rid of the promising young talent. And if you don't believe me, I think you just have recency bias towards the, Wizards Jordan Poole, and you don't remember what the Warriors Jordan Poole looked like. I mean, they already won a championship. He had a ring, but sadly, I just don't see the Golden State Warriors doing that. And like I said, I don't know what they're going to do come free agency, if there is anyone that they can grab. I don't think there's going to be anyone that will turn them into a championship contending team, but I seriously do think Klay Thompson is kind of going to be the first domino to fall for this franchise and this team. Even though I don't see Steph Curry or Draymond Green leaving this franchise, I think they will end up retiring together at the same time, like a couple. I don't know. I just don't see what the Warriors can do besides draft new young talent and bring in new players to develop and kind of pass the torch to. There's just going to be no more winning with this current Warriors roster. And by the way, I know that they have Kuminga and Moody and stuff like that. Like, they do have some young talent. I know Pods is there as well. I just don't know if they're like superstar caliber players or players that will eventually turn into superstars. But I know that they have young talent, and I do like that. Not forget, they were willing to trade those players away for a older Paul George. So I really don't think they're that deep into development and bringing up their own young talent right now. But all that being said, this was my quick little ramble about the Golden State Warriors because there has been so much news surrounding them recently, and I've had so many things on my mind when it comes to this team. Drop all your opinions down in the comments below. I read and respond to everyone. I really do want to hear what you guys have to say about this Warriors franchise and what's next for them. And if you're watching this and Klay Thompson isn't a Warrior anymore, let me know what you think about the move that he made down in the comments as well, okay? Because that's probably going to be something that happens within at least the next 24 hours, and I want to know what you guys think as well. Also, like, subscribe, it helps out the channel a ton, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Later.